We're going to go posh, middle class to Josh, okay? Give it up for Tendani Sikweta.
Hello, just want to talk about my poem. My poem's called What Am I? Well, when I was writing it, I was supposed to be revising from a science, so I just thought, let me do something about water. So, what am I? I move with emotion that don't die. I'm a mixture of elements, but no, I can't fly. In your house, I'm a big bill, along with your taxi. My flow is smooth and quite relaxing. My natural colour is transparent blue. I'm your everyday need, so I'm essential to you. So, what am I? My ethical background is hydrogen and oxygen. I'm a need in litres times 200 by 10. I can be transformed from liquid, solid, or gas. Sorry. Yeah. I could be transformed from a liquid, solid, or gas. I'm held in a container, but naturally I don't have a mass. So tell me, what am I? You can figure me out with no complication. By the way, when you're at work, don't forget, if you slip over me, you'll be wanting compensation. Thank you, Will.
As his supporters in the queue that are going round the block, going, yo, let me push in.
Drip. The first drop hits quietly, unexpectedly, and from it ripples spread fast like light, as deadly silent as an unexploded mine, reaching out for willing ears and unkind minds. Soon, the puddle becomes a lake, in the calm before the tempest breaks. Acid drops of poison, a puddle of lies becomes a lake, and then an ocean, huge and wide, immeasurable. Absorbed by cold hearts, once rumors start, they can't be stopped. A flood of hate, of judging looks, and from the devil's broken cup, we drink the fatal poison up. Our society is cursed, immersed in aqua lies. A tsunami of rumors blocks out the skies, as honesty slowly, slowly dies.
Yeah, whoops and hollers that we want to hear. That's cool. Okay, next up, third young poet coming up to the stage, Rubina Shaheen.
Thank you. When I first got the theme of water, I was a bit reluctant to enter because I knew that just like me, every other applicant was going to have their own individual poem. But today, I've written about an issue that affects our society even today. So this is called Dry. How can water be everywhere, yet people are dying because there's none to spare? You get the leaflets through the door, charity speaking on behalf of those who are poor, yet you chuck it in the trash without worry, because the water in your taps, you get that for free. You don't have to walk for miles and miles like those in Haiti. Your water's clean, but theirs is dirty. You won't spare a thought for the children who are dying. You won't spare a thought for the mothers who are crying. These people don't have a choice, but you do. Speak up, spread your voice. Preach to those who you know can help. They could spread their wealth, and maybe then they'll finally understand. People around the world could really use a helping hand. Thank you.
Keep that applause going, please, for Amy Hughes.
My next poem is called The Sea, and I decided to write about the ocean through the eyes of someone who's never seen it before or perhaps doesn't even know what it is. The sea. Lively, the limbs slither and entwine with one another, caressing the hulls of ships and clutching the legs of unfortunate sailors. Soon, foam froths at the jaws of this great, many-armed monster, spots the corners of the mouth gaping wide and toothless. The biting, freezing, and spitting fury pulling away and apart all remnants of man's brief venture into this swarming nest. The rise and fall, the chest of a giant creature breathing, softly and soundly slumbers in the deep and the cold, in the dark where the unknown dwells, belly to the bed where it rests its head sleeping, eyeless it watches and timeless waits, the poisoned water and the formless dancer, eyeless it watches and timeless waits.
So our fifth poet coming to the lectern now is Tabassum Tarafda.
A sound. Trip, trip, trip. Unheard, unnoticed. Patiently waiting. Splash. Waiting. Splash. Rhythmic flowing, silver lining the earth at one with nature. Waiting. A wave, a harmless wave, washing out fragments of old junk. A wave, a proper wave, supporting the surfers and their surfboards. A wave, a violent wave, raging towards the land, crushing, invading, flooding. The trees, the houses, the factories, and the living are all being showered at nature's will. And then a glass, a small glass, is filled with a wet substance, a blessing, the main elixir of life. Drink up.
Keep that applause going, guys. Keep it going for Joanna Mason.
When I was thinking about the theme water, I thought it's hard to get one specific thing about water in a poem. So I thought, I'll do a poem about all the different forms that water can take. Here it is. Waves rush fiercely onto salt-soaked sand. Streams flow calmly through the green woodlands. Fountains spout majestically, they're elegant and tall. Water cascades down the rocks in a waterfall. Ocean rollers splash slimy boulders. Stagnant pond lies flat as water grows older. Rivers run rings round country and town. Gutters drip silently as the rain comes down. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry guys, I did tell you before the show, but if any of you want this mic, just grab it off me, and just take it. Cool. Next up then, guys, it's Holly Tyler.
I decided to talk about the different types of water in my poem. It's called Fate. When the ocean kisses the shore, people stare and wait for the waves next roar, knowing it is fate. The pink party lights dance, reflecting along the still pool. It flashes different colours at every glance. Suddenly someone jumps in, breaking the water's wall. It flies through the air in a balloon, awaiting to break free upon the victim. A scream and then laughter fills the room as the target is drenched in the water that hit him. Ripples cover the surface as a swan glides gently along. It creates an image you cannot miss upon the lake that you walk along. The desire for it after a long run, in which the dry air has stung your lips. The pain is intensified by the heat of the sun. You tip it back and take seemingly endless sips. It flows down the river, taking debris and litter on its way. Sometimes the wind makes it quiver, and the drops form a messy array. It falls from the sky, to some's delight. Others simply complain about what it does to their hair. It continues to pour down and down through the night, and leaves moisture in the air. When the ocean kisses the shore, people stare and wait for the waves' next roar, knowing it is fate.
And next up, please give a massive round of applause for Natasha Brown.
If I was water, where would I go? What would I do? Which way would I flow? Delving deep into the depths of the deepest seas? Giving life to you, animals and the strongest trees? Hydrating your soul, mind and body? Or making crashing waves when I'm feeling angry? You see, you'll find me in taps and fountains when you're thirsty. Or you'll use me to cleanse your body when you're dirty. You'll see children using me to fight on the street, quenching your thirst when you're feeling weak. But what about me? I'm in the scene, I don't know where I'll go. 1 minute I'm relaxed, at peace, at home. Next minute I'm with my brothers attacking someone's boat. How I'll be used next, only God knows. I could clearly come out of your tap as your supporter of life. Ice in your freezer for your coolest delight, pouring from heaven, thunder by my side. You're scared, but without me, you would have died. Sometimes I'm subtle, you don't know I'm there. But truthfully, I'm here, around you, everywhere. For some people, I can cause quite a scare. They go out without their coats, therefore they're unprepared. That's not my intentions. I only do what I'm told. Sometimes I rebel because I feel bitter and cold, like a teenager that doesn't want to be controlled. I want to do what I do, let my mysteries unfold. I can be nice, relaxing, hydrating, however I can cause your body to be trembling, shaking. You know that on a hot day, with me will make it clear and consistent. I'm yours faithfully.
And next up to the stage, Georgina Ramsey.
I decided to write a poem that was about drought because I found it interesting that there were so many similarities between people who are experiencing drought and water itself. So this is Walking for My Water. I'm walking for my water, for my human right, praying for rain to come tomorrow as I go to bed tonight. How ironic that there are similarities between a water droplet and me. We both live lives full of sudden changes and riddled with uncertainty. One day it's falling from the sky, and the next it's entering the sea. What form it will end up in tomorrow, nobody can guarantee. And the direction in which it travels depends on the turning of the tides. My day is solely dependent on what Mother Nature decides. Some days the rain will fall with overwhelming force. Some days I must trek miles in search of the nearest source. I'm walking for my water, for my human right, praying for rain to come tomorrow as I go to bed tonight. The sun's kiss may be powerful, but it won't quench my thirst. It won't grow my crops, nor put money in my purse. They just turn their tap on, and it falls into the sink. Yet I must walk for miles, just for one clean drink. I wonder how they would feel if they turned their tap on, to discover the thing that they took most for granted had suddenly all gone. I wonder how they would feel if they went to the sea and could no longer hear the sound of the waves crashing the gentle shore. What if there was nothing left but hollow ground and they couldn't see their reflection anymore? I wonder how they would cope if their water ran out. I wonder how they would cope if faced with drought. I'm walking for my water, fighting for my human right, praying for rain to come tomorrow because there is no water in sight.
And next up we have Neanderthal Fade.
My water poem is called Cascade. Cascade, running free like a stallion, gushing over rock and stone, spinning over the lip, liberation, winding through, under, over, simple shimmers of light and shape, pouring into deep pools of azure. Turquoise, teal, blue, grey, green, brown, orange, black, like a stormy night. Smashing against a hull, crushing wood, claiming, killing, destroying, stealing a life. And falling down, 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 always down, my dear friend gravity. Feel my particles, loose and free, they run through your fingers, a sheen of clarity, a ring of purity to it. Running down cheeks, leaving silver wake in our dust, my wake, its wake. Uncontainable until contained, thick, flying through air, on your tongue, just out of reach, inhaled, down I go, deep within, boring into rock and earth, flimsy with the strength of 1,000 tons. We leave, I leave you, it leaves you with tunnels of memory. Pulling down rock into icicles of earth, embracing fire for steam, riding the air like a bareback stallion, and ivy, it is free. Running from your lips, your fingertips, it drips. Drip, drip, drop.
Two poems left, so this first half, so the penultimate poem, Lauren Williams, please.
My water poem's called I Think We Can All Learn Something from Water. If I was a wave, I'd stretch wide like a yawn, and I'd lay tired like a flat, matte colour. Suddenly, I'd be disturbed by the sudden urge to rise up and crash, dispersing into little shards of broken glass, and rolling up into fluffy white clouds of froth. And some people will say I do it because I'm blue, but my mood just isn't deep like that. Now please pardon the pun, but if I was a wave, I'd be too deep to be labelled or explored. If I sum life up in a metaphor, it would be life's like a river, because it carries you along its current and it takes you for a ride. But you don't mind, because you think it's all going your way, until it changes. It speeds up and slows down, and before you know it, you fall down, because you fell off the deep end. Because life's like a river, it never goes your way, intentionally. I think we can all learn something from water. The constant drip, 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 where each drop is like liquid gold to those in need. But to you or me, each drip that drops, whether it's just wasted down the drain or used to fill my cup, it doesn't mean much. However, those drips of wasted water are like liquid gold to those in need. If water was a currency, I wouldn't blink to give to charity, because I'd turn on my tap and I'd be an instant millionaire. However, to those who live with droughts and the water they get is deadly, what choice do they have when they live with extreme poverty? Dirty water's like a disease, bringing mothers to their knees as they mourn the loss of their daughters, when they could have saved their life with a clean glass of water. And day after day, other families line up to the slaughter, because the only drip they get, and it may be barely a drop, barely filling their cup, it's diseased water. We can all learn something from water, whether it's the metaphor of life or the complexity of a wave, the twisted curve of a river. They all show how water's a life giver, but it also takes away, like the coming and going of a tide and the rise and crash of a wave. It creates and destroys but can never be tamed, and liberation's what's left as the tide drags back into the sea. Thank you.
And finally, last but not least, the final second of the two lads representing the boys, Kamal Huggins Colledy.
I'm the paper mache samurai, here to tell you about a common enemy of mine, the water ninja. Water ninja. They are assassins, so watch it. Make no mistake, they are excellent warriors, shapeshifters and mirage artists, putting out fires and bursting through dams. They caress and reshape rock, cut through caves and the dark, full of life, masters of pressure, hidden in leaves, disaster and good measure. One of metal's only assailants, a permanent obstacle for sailors. They abduct from below. Smudge knowledge shows how to let go. They don't swim, they are swim. Waves on top of the top. We don't own them, we don't control them. Mother Nature is the one after God. Thank you.
And can we give them all one final big round of applause? How you doing, Superboy? We all good? We okay? Thumbs up? Cool. Okay. Yeah, it's going off cool.
It seems you left some time ago. I can't believe I've been so blind that I believed your honeyed lies. It's like you knew just what to do to make me fall in love with you. You gave me flowers, bought me wine, called and texted me all the time. I was ensnared by what seemed to be your genuine warmth and honesty. So I gave to you my heart, my soul, and evidently these were your goals. Once you'd achieved them, the game got boring. We met less often and you stopped calling. But I didn't know something was wrong, that you were bored, were moving on. The truth, I just could not believe. Why would Romeo want to leave? Then you text me, it's over. And at first I thought, what a joker, surely this can't be for real. You've told me often how you feel. Said we were meant to be together, two souls intertwined forever. But then you split them, tore them apart. You stole my soul and smashed my heart. Left me, gave no reason why. I wanted to colour and die. But I carried on and gained perspective. A relationship was never your objective. You tried to break me, but I moved on. Where I had weakness, now I'm strong. I got back up when I was low. And now, you're nothing, Romeo.
Alright, I'm going to tell you a story now. So, basically story time. No one's going to go sleep like this. Yeah, it's called The Boy and the Girl. So it's kind of like a local remix. Okay. There was a boy who, on one day like this girl, little he knew he'd want to make her up. He didn't ask for this. Luckily, it didn't come in a flash. His feelings built up, so it was now time to splash. He gained a lot of feelings for her, but without him even knowing. The funny thing is, the way it started, the strangest way of going. He started off with a hello, how you doing, and ended with a bye. So things grew on and led to little flirts and a slide. The boy then opened up to his bestie. He told her he wasn't serious, because if it was, it would get messy. So by doing this, he thought he had saved her, because he didn't want to get her hopes up, then break her. Consequently, everything got overheard, then got told to the bird, which mixed in the ingredients and got stirred. Now the boy was left confused and unfortunately learned. Why? Well, she had this irresistible beauty which never consisted of her looks, but her happiness, her joy, the knowledge of her books. But boy saw the girl in such a different way. He wishes she was his mistress till this very day. Well, back to the story. Everything was out there, and it got quite awkward. Shyness got to them both and stopped them moving forward. This led to lack of good and needed communication. So with no knowledge of what was going on, they distant with great complication. It's best you told him, oh, move on, or find another place, because the heart is dangerous and you need to find a school path which you need to retrace. So, everything done, awaiting fate. He was like a ghost to her, buried. Everything was finally dead. She took no notice of him. No hello, how you doing? No goodbye. She went on heartless and left the boy's heart with a cry. For this show, the boy still had his spark. The girl's light shone bright and was still taking him out the dark. Why was this happening? He never asked her this at all. He only asked her out to a ball. Well, a few weeks on, we started talking normally. Friendship grew formally. With all the communication had cleared all the complication, it still led the boy to her destination. Frequently, she started creeping into his mind. All the hurt, depression, he had left it all behind. So, he sat back, sipping on a cup of tea. He just thought to himself, is this really supposed to be? At this point, he had come to a conclusion. It was a feature that he liked her. No, it wasn't a delusion. He didn't tell how he felt. He just strapped it in tight, just like a bow. Sadly, he was coming to the last ever semester. His feelings were strong, nothing like a shopping bag, polyester. His feeling was strong that he couldn't leave without telling, because if he did, he would be shredding and he doesn't want to be regretting. So, a few days left, it's now or never. You don't want to act too shy because that won't be too clever. Plus, it might be the last time they see each other forever. So, the time's ticking. The day's coming. There's no time for slumping. His feelings were erupting. Is this love what it could all resemble? Or is the boy going to be left heartbroken and left to tremble? For there was a boy who, once they liked this girl, little he knew he'd want to make it this far. Thank you.
Cool. Can we have another big round of applause, please, for Serena Arthur?
This poem is called Mother's Morning Song. It's inspired by how fortunate we are to have freedom of expression when not everybody else does. I pick up the book, pages crumpled and worn, discoloured. Dusty fingerprints line the edge of the yellow page where my fingers have gripped it. I read a page, slowly, carefully, sipping the words like precious water before setting it back in its place, hidden, where no one goes, safe for the next time I come here. I remember a time when we all danced and laughed, when our fathers would tell stories from their ancestors' books, when Mother used to sing her morning songs, or put on the battered radio and sing along. Her voice would lift us all so high, her voice rang out, sweet, strong and high, welcoming a new day into our lives. But that was before the people came, with their different views and their different ways. They banned our books and banned our songs. They threatened us with their shiny guns. Mother never stopped her song. She never lost her voice. She was the nightingale that came out in the light. I was holding her hand the day the bullet ripped through the chest of her favourite bright blue dress. I returned again in the soundless night and took my book from its hidden place, and I read a page of the things that gave me hope, of my ancestors' stories, of my mother's songs, and I felt, for once, like I belonged.
Please welcome back to the mic, guys, Rubina Shaheen.
The second poem I'm going to read for you today is called At War With Myself. And judging by the title and the ending, you can guess who it's about. You're incredibly rude and selfish too. It's almost unbearable having to live with you. You wind me up, mess with my head every day, non-stop. It's almost like you're everywhere. You put me down to my own misery, to an extent where I find it hard to breathe. You're ever present, you never leave. I struggle to cope because you're always with me. I wish I could do something to make you stay away. I wish there was something that didn't come with a price to pay. If you must know the truth, I absolutely hate you. In fact, I wish I could hurt you without hurting me too. Thank you.
And next up, Amy Hughes.
This next poem is based on a line from the first episode of the BBC Sherlock TV show. I don't know if any of you guys watched that, but yeah. It's called Psychopaths Get Bored. There is a man in the prison vaults, shut away from the world for his crimes against humanity, crimes against nature, crimes against nurture, crimes against us. Crimes got him in here, and he spends his time waiting, watching, thinking. He sits against the wall and breathes. Silently, he notes each movement and each motion in his padded white world. He wears all white clothing, his arms bound his sides. The straitjacket holds his body together, but minds are not so easily contained. One day, sitting, waiting, head lolling forward, black cap of hair hanging over black eyes, all seeing in his private kingdom. One day he walks the halls of his asylum, like a god among men who have no concept of his importance. Frightened rats in his experiment, the white walls painted a new colour, with a new macabre pattern, a new type of intelligent design. Eventually they called him one man against an army, the army of the damned stripped to a single entity. He's thrown back inside a cloud, back in a lonesome kingdom. Men in coats parade through, peering through horn-rimmed spectacles. They ask him questions over and over again. The answer to their questions is simple, beyond their comprehension of simplicity. The answer to their questions is simply, psychopaths get bored.
And next up, please, Tabassum Tarafta.
This is called Anger, Depression and Fear. What is anger? Is it a tiny flickering candle knocked over, rapidly creating a blazing wildfire in a blink of an eye, with flames scorching the inside of our hearts and minds? Or is it a sinister, ticking time bomb, like a predator waiting for a mere spark to detonate it into millions of tiny shrapnel filled with red rage? What is depression? Does it grab hold of us, brutally sucking out the starry colours around us, replacing it with a dismal, grayscale vision? Or does it slowly eat away at us, like vultures or maggots, leaving us more and more hollow until we wither away into nothing? But what is fear? Is it just the blurry doubt scurrying around our heads in circles repeatedly, until one day it ends its cruel game, relieving us? Or is it an everlasting routine, a part of our daily lives, knocking our heartbeats into fast action whenever it kicks in, gesturing our nightmares closer, finally placing the real danger in front of us? Thank you.
And keep that applause going for Joanna Mason.
It's funny, when I was thinking about what I could do for the the other poems that weren't themed, I thought about theme memories, because it's intriguing to me that I can't actually remember how I came to think of that. But I thought, well, I've got a lot of happy memories, and I thought I'll put these all into a poem. It's funny how a smell or sound can mean something so profound. Just for a second you stop and remember that day in March, June or December. You go over that moment and rewind, reliving that time and event in your mind. A big celebration with everyone there. Or just you and a parent, breathing sea air, enjoying a bag of fruit sweets with a friend, or having a lot of money to spend. What you think of does depend on your childhood memories in the end. Thank you.
And welcome back to the microphone. Holly Taylor, please.
My poem's called The Forger. The soft, meandering rivers of time climb the mountains and their whispering rhyme. Surrounded by pain, darkness, and torture, they believed every word said by the forger. With eyes so startling and painstakingly blue, they never thought that this person was not you. The way you slurred, the way you would walk, that night had been the last that they ever heard you talk. The night you lost everything you ever had, or blown away with the wind that hurt you so bad. It took everything, including your sanity. You had nothing, not even your identity. Locked inside the darkness all alone, they stripped you to only skin and bone. Accent perfected, your stride adorned, they left, leaving the truth to dawn. Suddenly, your tears wouldn't run. Suddenly, the game wasn't fun. In the end, they would always win, all your memories tossed in the bin. It took your life as you grew old, sitting there in that room, so cold. You didn't notice the dark anymore. The light was something you never saw. No one heard your screams as your life ripped at the seams. Your whole being taken, there was no reason to ever awaken.
Following Holly Tyler, we have Natasha Brown.
This poem is kind of deep. It's like about a relationship that I went to. It's kind of personal, but I thought I'd share it because I love you guys. I'm joking. It's called The Love That Lies. Fallen for deception, drawn by the trap of deceit and lies. What happens when you give your heart to a wreck? You become a mess. You live depressed, oppressed by the one you thought would always be, lied to by the one that said, I'll never leave. Your heart is torn and smashed to pieces. Now look at you. You believed in love once upon a time, but you also believed in fairy tales and sang nursery rhymes, so that got taken away from you when you realised you know more than you think. Thinking is what causes the heart to fail. While your mind is at work, your heart starts to sail deeper, deeper, diving deeper out of love and into the hurt, deeper out of innocence, indulging in the world, becoming more real, less like your dream world. All because of the way you let yourself think. You thought of yourself as imperfect and worthless until he came around and made you think you had a purpose. When all his subliminal messages had worked and then he dropped you for someone else. She gets the same treatment as you did now. She gets treated like a princess and then somehow he'll start to get bored and she'll get left out. Then he'll drop her for her somehow. Thank you.
And next up to the microphone, Georgina Ramsey.
I wrote this poem for my auntie's wedding, and even though it's mainly about the bride, I wanted everyone to be able to share in her experience. Our love has been like a fairy tale, and today we begin a new chapter in which the princess gets her prince and her happily ever after. The doors open as the music begins to play. My father takes my hand, ready to give me away. Nervous as I am, as I walk down the aisle, I know I'm walking towards you and your loving smile. With the knowledge that we'll soon be man and wife, and today will mark the first day of the rest of our life. The music appears to quieten down. I can no longer hear the song. All I see is you. Feel your hand in mine. I'm right where I belong. We may have entered as two hearts and souls, but we'll leave as one, bonded together. It's you and me from this day forward. You and me forever. I will vow to love and to cherish you with all of my heart, in sickness and in health, till death do us part. Then we will be asked whether we will to these vows stay true, and our answer, without a doubt, will be, I do. Thank you.
All the young poets were practicing for me and Claire earlier, and when Georgina performed that poem, I was like, how old are you? 15? You sound like you know what it's like to get married. She just hit it. It was cool. Okay, next up, please. Can we have a round of applause for Neanderthal for Day?
This is not a happy poem, unfortunately. It's probably at the other end of the spectrum of Georgina's, and it's called The Closed Door. He asked for my hand, and I gave it. He took my hand and burnt it. The pictures are so beautiful, I want to burn them. We're both smiling, not a worry in our eyes, like he burns me. I will always give him what he wants, or he hurts me. For him, I will do anything, or I die. And I will do so till I die by his hand. He works so hard every day doing nothing, while I stay at home being lazy doing everything. The dishes I do are poorly done, not good enough for him, and I always miss spots when I'm washing the floor, the blood he spills. And I'm ever so clumsy running into his fist, spilling hot soup all over me that he threw, falling down the stairs when he pushed. And I've no social skills whatsoever, and he hides me. That's why I've not a single friend. I'm all alone. Sometimes I say such stupid things, he hates it. I don't know how he puts up with me, with knives and fists and fire. He's so good to me, and what do I do in return? I suffer. Honestly, I'm so lucky to have him. I'm so afraid, so scared. And when I finish telling you my story, don't believe it. Through a painful smile, help me. Holding tears back, I'm alone. Hoping you won't believe his lies, hear me. You say, it was nice to meet you, then you leave. Don't leave me. And he walks over and mutters, he's coming. Who is she? He's angry. Just a friend, I say. Wrong answer. I thought we discussed your friends. He's going to hurt me. I'm sorry, not good enough. I can see in his eyes it's not good enough. Never good enough. We're leaving. Help me. And I follow him back behind the closed door. So afraid. I'm so alone. I'm so scared.
We couldn't have put those two girls in a better order. It's good workmanship going on there. Cool. So, our penultimate poet coming up to the stage for the second time, we have Lauren Williams.
This poem's called Too Many. Stand tall, like the good soldier, brave and loyal, and lay low to the broken man, smashed to pieces like broken glass in a one-way window. The shards fall like snow, icy crystals that reflect the hatred of many. Too many. Camouflage to hide your scars, to hide your fear. Rifles at the ready, they say. Don't take time to hesitate. You're doing this for your country. Kill to protect your mate. Murder to save your mother. But don't hesitate. You're doing this for your country. Take one life. Save many. Too many. And duck down, dodge the bullet, stand tall and shoot back. Run quick or die fast. Try to survive or just be the last to die. But never turn back. Face the battle head on. Run. Bullets and bombs fly past your ears. Run, they cry. Or die by the next bomb or bullet fired off by many. Too many. And hold their picture close to your heart and pray you'll see them again if you survive. Because it's always an if or a but that makes you a target. When a bullet flies towards you, it's doubt that guides it. But they tell you to pray and that God will be on your side. Because you're the good soldier, the one who might survive. And maybe dodge the bombs and bullets fired off by many. Too many. So, but what makes an enemy and what makes a war? Because for every soldier shot down dead, there's a compromise left unsaid. And every bomb that's left unexploded, there's an argument ready to explode for it. But don't worry, this war won't be the last. Because for every argument that's left unresolved, there's homes of many broken and lives of many taken. So tiptoe through the trenches and duck around the dead ones. It doesn't matter whose father, son or mother's daughter it is. To the general, it's a soldier, bred for the battle and equipped for the honourable death. But before they die, kill the enemy, the one who's also killed many. And are those battle scars or bullet holes? Because either way, they leave you open like a sieve. And yet this is how you choose to live. Put on a brave mask to hide the face of fear. Try to stay above the wave of red emotion or blood as it appears to rain from every soldier, imitating the tears cried by their loved ones. Tears cried for many, by many, too many. Too many enemies, too many lives lost, too many compromises left unsaid, too many tears, too many scars, too many hearts left filled with hate. But when does too many become too much? And when do people realise it's time for a change? Now, before it's too late.
So, down to our last poet, so can we have a posh middle class to Josh. Round of applause, please, for Kamal Huggins Collider.
Hello. This next poem is called The Mind Blast, and it's like a long metaphor of how, I changed my mind frame from being like a failing student and, a suspended student to, getting second to the top of the classes, not the class. Yeah. But, a mind blast in the night, creating a bright, blinding light like lit magnesium. I tried to study this blast technique further in the laboratory. I tell you my findings so far in the form of a story. A thought lets off a spark, then the whole idea expands and overpowers the menacing dark, filling up all of the emptiness, then gently settling, like the events that happen in Noah's Ark found in the book of Genesis, leaving nothing but raw thoughts. There's no such things as pure thoughts, but all thoughts can judge on anything and everything. What I'm saying can mean many things, and I'll just stop with the riddling and focus more on taming the mind blast and get out of this tiresome brainstorm. In my darker days, I felt a fragile faith for. Now I'm steady in the ocean, capturing the rhyme in full focus, projected from the mighty force called my powerful mind. Thank you.
And the same again, guys. Can we just give all the young poets a massive round of applause? So that's it from the young poets for today. They'll get letters and phone calls and stuff as Bever to say if they do or haven't won the Young Poet Laureate competition. I'm going to finish off just with a couple of poems, and we're good. You can enjoy the rest of the library and the sunshine if it's still sunny and all the rest of it. I'm going to start off with the water one. Like I say, I'm quite surprised, I suppose, at how different kind of all their water poems were to each other. And I struggled to get into a water poem. Well, I'm quite big on kind of Greek and Roman mythology and comic book mythology. So I just thought, I'm going to make Poseidon Aquaman's dad. And I just kind of rammed it together, and this is what we've come out with. An island was born, war-torn forged by the fingers of Finns, created to the existence of demigod origins. And many have tried following the wet footprints in the sand, but when the ocean erases the evidence, you're left fighting the war with the damned. Many men are born to stand, only a few are born to rise. You can't dip in and out of greatness like the shores of the tide, and I'm sure the jaws of the prize lie to us and is disguised entirely. Your blessing is your curse when submerged with the entire sea. There's a higher need for purpose and a greater need for good. The waves would rain over us if every human understood. But we study to understand lands that stood before us. We try to repeat what once was, like the echo of a chorus. When a map's laid out before us, we just decipher and follow. One day ahead of yesterday, always one day behind tomorrow. In one day and night of misfortune, floods and earthquakes happened. A population drowned after failing to invade Athens. The mighty wrath of Sula helped the land to vanish. The goddess of the sky gifted Poseidon with a palace. She inflicted malice with waves of the Atlantic, the underwater city, the legend of Atlantis. Aquatic amphibians flourished, giving birth to a whole new race. Sinking rose, an ancient antiquity to behold and embrace, erasing the land's past, worshipping the bearer of the trident. Now the time was right for a queen and an heir for Poseidon. So he chose a scientist named Atlanta to become the beauty by his side. The Earthshaker king had a queen of the tides, and then arise the cries of lifeline monarchies with piercing sea blue eyes. Prince Orin was born underneath the reflection of the skies. Trials and tests awaited to prove that the ocean prince was worthy, learning strength, honour, stealth, and Atlantean agoge. Slowly he rose, and upon completion of final task, the king dissolved into the seven seas the trident had been passed. With everlasting memories from lessons he'd been taught, Poseidon stayed with him in spirit and came to him in thoughts. King Orin became mentally connected with the dweller of the depths, who was helping to advise, guide,